Hi, thank you for your interest in our fertilization and weed control program. I'm going to go over a few things on why you should choose College Fund Landscaping versus some of your other options out in the market. First of all, we have no contracts, no commitments, so you can cancel at any time. We want you to be happy, right? So we want to do our job well, keep you as a client long term, so that's the pressure's on us to do well to keep you as a client. Second of all, we have free warranty trips between visits, so if there's anything that pops up in between services, give us a call. We'll come right back out and treat the area again. No questions asked. Once again, we want your yard to look the best in the neighborhood. Another thing you might be seeing is the blue lawns that we're spraying out across DFW. The reason for this is we want to ensure accurate and even applications. So pre-emergence is the most, in my opinion, is the most important application of any fertilization and weed control program. It's easier to stop a weed from germinating than to kill it once it pops up. So we put an FDA compliant, it's actually a food-based dye on all of our treatments. That way it ensures an even application. So we do 3 pre-emergence applications. One's starting around October, another in January, another in March, give or take, some weeks on there, and every year is different. As part of our program also, we do 4 fertilization treatments during the summer months. These are a slow release chemical fertilizer. So it doesn't just spike the yard and then all of a sudden die down. It releases it over a course of 6 to 8 to 12 weeks, depending on the time of year. We also do a soil amendment, some potassium magnesium sulfate in the winter. So that's basically, if you think of that, it's like getting your yard ready for the next spring. Every treatment we do has a post-emergence application in it, because there are going to be some weeds that may pop up between the treatment and the last one you had. So we're going to come by and we're going to treat those. Another thing is we are licensed by the Texas Department of Agriculture. This is very important. One, because we do all the continuing education classes. We know what's on the market, what's coming up. We know some things that might get canceled that are on the market, so we can get ahead of the problems before they might pop up. A lot of your mom and pops are out there doing fertilization treatments. Technically, that's illegal. So I recommend not using them for your services. Another thing that we separate ourselves from the competition, we have chemical tracking software. So we could go, if you're a client of ours for 5 years, we could go back 5 years and see what we put down on your yard, what the rate it was, how many gallons it was, and everything. So you might be asking yourself, why is this important? One, it's required by law, and we hold ourselves to that higher standard that some companies might not be. And we don't want to be trying to fly below the radar. We believe in doing things the right way. And 2, weeds do have a resistance, kind of like the flu strand. It can adapt and have a resistance to an herbicide, just like it can have a resistance to a pharmaceutical medicine. So we want to go back and see what we've been doing. So if you've been on a program for 4 or 5 years and we're seeing some things aren't working out, or some things are changing, we can go back and see, well, what have we done before? What can we try and do differently this next application? So that's important to us. Also, we can see it. We don't have a one-size-fits-all approach. So if you have Bermuda grass, we're going to treat that differently than if you have St. Augustine grass and if you have zoysia grass. If at some point in time you change your grass type, we can go back and see what we were doing before and what we need to do moving forward. Another thing, we do have upgradable packages, Grub, ant, disease, and aeration. We can do that for you as well. We also offer weekly mowing, which is very important. The 3 best things for a healthy yard: fertilization and weed control, weekly mowing, and then irrigation. You have to water it in properly. We can't do that for you, obviously, but we will send you instructions on how to do that. So if you do those 3 things, you should have a successful fertilization and weed control program. Another thing that separates us is if we notice something different. If we notice, say you don't want to do our Grub ant disease control package, we're going to keep an eye on your yard. If we notice a problem area, we're going to contact you and say, hey, we noticed this problem area, it might be something you want to address. So we're going to keep that dialogue open for you. I could go on and on. This is already a 4-minute video. I'd be shocked if anybody made it this far. But obviously you can tell I'm passionate about this. We feel we can do a good job and we'll be the best choice as your lawn care and fertilization and weed control provider. So let us know if you have any questions.